Hello folks, this is Sula once again. You're listening to a video preview for Civ4 AI Survivor. This is going to be Season 5, Playoff Game number 1. Yes, we've reached the playoff round now. We've gotten through all of our opening round games and our wildcard game, and that means that we are now prepared to see all of the remaining civs take place in our playoffs. Everyone that you see in these games in the playoffs has either finished first or second place in a previous game. So this is what our overview looks like. As usual, it's one of our typical blobby Pangea maps. I will run through and first of all, take a quick look at the tundra since I know we've had requests to look at what resources are there. There's the Arctic, and down here is the Antarctic. Lots of seafood resources, furs, marble, oil seems to be the only things that pop up there. So let's go ahead and look through at which leaders we drew into these games. I'm going to start with the 3 leaders that won their opening round games and then go on to the 3 that came in second place in their opening round games. First up, we have Pakal here in the north. Pakal is one of the best economic leaders in Civ4, expansive financial, amazing traits. If you're playing unmodded Civ4, these are arguably the best traits that you can get for a leader. And the Mayan Civ is at least decent, if not spectacular. The starting techs are a little bit weak, but Pakal's a pretty good leader. He does overemphasize culture, maybe to a certain extent, but generally builds a good economy. If he bothers to expand, he's often one of the stronger leaders. We will have to see how successful he is at expanding out of this position here in the north central part of the map. Next up, we have Saladin. Saladin is not one of the game's more impressive economic leaders. Spiritual, protective, not very good traits. He's relatively straightforward. He's going to found a religion, and then he's going to like anyone who has the religion and dislike anyone who doesn't have the religion. So he's kind of a standard militarism plus religion AI. He is on towards the lower end of the peace weight scale. He's similar in a lot of ways to Charlemagne over here on the west side, who is another militarism plus religious leader, but he leans more towards the low end of the peace weight scale. Charlemagne leans more towards the high end of the peace weight scale. His opening round win, I wouldn't say was super impressive. It was an exceedingly long and slow game, and he's probably not going to be one of the favorites in this game, but we'll see. Maybe he'll surprise us. Over here in the northwest corner, we have Alexander. Alex is a very simple AI to understand. He's very, very militaristic. His traits aren't super great for that. The philosophical is kind of an odd pairing. But in his opening round game, he just torched the field. He actually killed 4 leaders. He was in a game of 6 leaders. He killed 4 of them and just ran over the whole map en route to a very early domination victory. I don't know if that's repeatable in this game, but for that game, he was super strong. And he's pretty easy to understand. He's going to fight people like all the time. He's going to attack and attack and attack. That's just what he's going to do. And if he's successful, he'll look good. And if he's not, then he's not going to look good. And frankly, in most games, he has not looked very good. But he had a really good opening round game, and that's why he's here in the playoffs. Over here in the northeast, we have Louis. Louis is a leader who likes to build wonders. That's kind of his thing. He has the industrious trait. He likes to build wonders. He also likes to start wars. It's not really a great combination. You might say, well, he did make the playoffs. Well, he kind of rode the coattails of another stronger leader to make it into the playoffs. He honestly didn't play a very good game in the opening round, but managed to limp in second place, and here he is. I wouldn't say Louis has been terribly successful in past seasons, but, you never know. He does have a silver resource at his capital, which is nice, and a fair bit of food. We'll see if he makes use of them. Down here in the southwest corner, we have Charlemagne of the Holy Roman Empire. Has really terrible starting techs, has arguably the worst starting tech pairing in the game. Well, no, it's second worst. He has Mysticism Hunting. Mysticism Wheel is the worst starting tech pairing in the game, but has poor starting techs. Doesn't really have good traits, although Imperialistic is pretty good, we found, for AI survivor purposes. But Charlemagne, he's going to found a religion. He's going to like people who has the religion. He's going to dislike people who don't have the religion. And he has been successful in past years. He is actually the defending champion from Season 4 at the moment, as we are here in Season 5. I didn't have a lot of respect for his win in Season 4, which I do think was kind of fluky, but he managed a second place finish in the opening round, and here he is again. So at the very least, you have to take him seriously because he's done well enough in enough games at this point that you can't say he's a total fluke. And finally, here in the middle of the map, we have Washington. Washington, kind of a not very interesting AI, honestly. He doesn't have a lot of stuff that stands out about him. He's relatively peaceful overall. He has a high peace weight. He generally doesn't declare a lot of wars. He was unimpressive in his opening round game. He just kind of hung on and rode the coattails of Willem to a victory. To a second place finish. He was a very distant second place finisher, but he did make it here. He's got a pretty nice starting position here. I think a lot of people are going to like this start. Is that going to be enough to get people to vote for Washington? Well, we'll find out. but I think a lot of people are going to like this start that he's just randomly drawn here. So again, this is the not opening round, it's the first playoff game. This will be played a week from when I record this video. It will be on the last day of July, July 31st, 2020. It'll be on the same live stream that the previous games are. If you haven't been familiar with that, there's a link in the description of this video, and we also run a picking contest where everybody tries to guess who's going to be the winner, who is going to be the first one eliminated, all that fun stuff. So there's a link to that as well underneath this video. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this as we move into the playoff round of Civ4 AI Survivor, and I hope we'll see you there for playoff game number 1. Until then, enjoy your week, have a good time, see you guys soon.